Hi, this is Shay Veronica. There are many, many people in nations that are poor. They struggle with poverty. They're afraid to speak. They're afraid to say their names. They're afraid to show their faces. They want to talk, but everything must be done anonymously. They hide in baggage. They hide in their skin. Sometimes when they get within their skin and they step on that scale, it tips the scale. They're severely overweight. They're hiding within their own flesh. Now, when women are abused, men, even the ones who are on sex enhancers, men who have prostate problems, men who have all sorts of ailments, they're still able to pull these young people to them because they know what they have left in their wake. They abused these women when they were young, and the women that they abused when they were young had children, and now they're there to take claim to the children. So men in their 60s are pulling women, young women who have been abused. Believe you me, this it is my opinion, but I happen to like my opinion. If a woman in her 20s or her 30s is dealing with a man in his 50s and 60s, she has been sexually abused, whether she realizes it or not, whether it is something that she has hidden within all the baggage that she carries along. That people carry all sorts of baggage. Okay, sometimes the baggage starts from the time you are a child in the crib. Okay, in the crib, you are carrying baggage. You don't remember all that baggage you're carrying within your system, but you are carrying baggage. It's there. So when you saw this fight on social media, and this guy Carl Leach comes up. He works for Barbados Workers Union. He's about 60 years old, and his name is being thrown around the place. He is married to a lady who works at Wabisco. She is a manager at Wabisco. Carl Leach has a son, Kyle Leach, who was the guild president there at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill campus, when there was a big scandal of money being missing under his watch. You remember that? And he was asked to resign. Do you remember that? So Kyle Leach left the university under a cloud. And here Carl is in his 60s. And he has women who are abused. He has women who have been abused and are still living out that abuse, fighting each other. He pits them against each other. Like I've said in other posts, it's either you're a pimp or you seem to be a hoe. So it seems as though that one of the women that is talking on social media claims that she was supporting Carl. Now he's a married man. How do you support a married man? How much money does he need? He's making money in his job. His wife is making money in her job, and yet he has a bunch of women who they say claim that because they talked that he asked them for money. So when this fight ensued, one of them went into court and got bail. No. Let me clarify what I just said. No bail, a fine. She received a fine, $1,500 fine. This particular fight happened April 11th. Today's the 14th, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And she went to court. She was arrested, went to court and paid a fine. It's done, over, because whoever stood in the seat of judgment said that they're going to give her a break. They don't want her life and her career or whatever she does to be ruined by this one act. And in the meanwhile, the gate or the fence and everything is mowed down. She has a car to fix. China Catwell is on social media with what she calls injuries from the fight. But I'm here to say that when you see situations like this, that women are fighting and women are continuing to be used by males. It's not a man. It's not a man we're talking about. It's just a male. When you see these things, you know that abuse have taken place, and the male in the center of everything is part of the abuse. And that male probably was doing it from the time he had an opportunity to do it as a young boy, and it has continued with him. It's what he is. It is just who he is. Okay, so don't expect people to change. Stop expecting people to change. All you can do is teach them by the way you walk. You have to walk the walk. Whatever you're saying, you have to match what you're saying with the way you're moving. And you teach people how to be better by looking at you as an example. But you cannot be setting poor examples and then expect to get out there and talk to people because they laugh at you. You're a joke. You become a joke. Okay? So there are 4 women. I think they think there are 3, but there's a 4th one that is talking to me, and she is saying all of them are abused. All of them were abused. All of them do not know what it is to be in a loving relationship. All they know is to have someone who is older and who's calling the shots. They all have suffered abuse, and they continue in their abuse. And it's time to cut that string. It's time to cut that cycle. It's time to change. It's time to modify your behaviors. It's time to work on change. This is a time that you must work on change, because sometimes when you really look at this situation, when you really, like I say, sometimes you step out of yourself and you look at the situation for what it is. It's almost as though they're a bunch of wild animals, not knowing what they're doing, but they satiate themselves with food and sex. Food and sex. And money is something that if you just happen to have it, that's a consolation prize. But food, if you can get food and sex, and you have to look at yourself in that kind of situation and wonder, how human are you? Are you truly a human being if you cannot get rid of your baggage? Share Veronica.